Hello, hello, and welcome back to the On the Reel with Andrew podcast, where me and my revolving group of friends discuss any and everything in the world of film and TV. I'm your host, Andrew Washington, and joining me again today for I'm honestly not sure how many times at this point, but another time, Jack. Hello.
Hi, what's up?
Welcome back. It's so good to have you here. We have a lot to talk about for a lot of different things. And we also have a very special guest, an interview with Luke Manley, one of the supporting actors from Marty Supreme. So stay tuned for that. But first, before we get into all of our main topic, which I'm sure is why you clicked on this episode, Jack, what have you been watching?
Well, here's the thing. It's been a while since I've been on the show, and so I didn't watch this movie particularly recently, but it's really stuck with me over the past couple months, and that is Catherine Bigelow's A House of Dynamite.
Okay.
I think this movie is so good, and no one's talking about it anymore.
I have not seen this movie yet. I need to catch up with it when I get like home for Christmas and do.
You've watched Marty Supreme like 5 times, and you haven't.
I've seen it twice. I've only seen Marty Supreme twice, and no, I have not seen A House of Dynamite a single time. But I will. I will get to it. I will. There's a lot of movies. Jack.
Anyway,
but what do you have to say about House of Dynamite?
Yeah, let me make the case for why you should see House of Dynamite.
Yes.
I think this movie has like one of the best scripts of the year. I don't know if you know the structure of the movie. It has a really original structure.
Okay, I'm moderately familiar with what I know. I know it's like a political thriller, and is it like set all in one room type?
So the premise is basically there's like a nuclear missile heading towards the United States, and it's about the people in like the like situation room like dealing with it, interfacing with like other like people in the government, and it's like all like in real time kind of. I think it's just such a good script because all the characters are like so well realized. We're like, even like just like this guy who's like on screen for like 5 seconds, like you're like, I understand this person like in their entire life just from how they're like interacting with the situation. And I don't know, it's like really stuck with me because it's just like, even if there's like a seemingly somewhat competent government, like we are dealing with like technology and stuff that's like so beyond what we can control as humans, and we have like so much more power to like destroy than like to like protect ourselves. And so it just like, I don't know, it was like a very like existential movie, but also like such a riveting thriller, and the performances are all like god tier.
Remind me of the cast. I know Idris Elba's in it, but he's the only one I can remember right now.
Idris Elba is the president of the United States. They have Rebecca Ferguson, Anthony Ramos, Tracy Letts.
Nice.
There's like a bunch of other people that I'm like totally blanking on right now.
Did Tracy Letts write it?
No, it was, I think Noah Oppenheim wrote it. I think he's written something else big, but I don't even remember. But the script is so good. Oh, Willa Fitzgerald's in it. They got Greta Lee, Jason Clarke.
Okay.
There's a cameo from a Booksmart alumni that I don't want to spoil.
I do love Booksmart. You could have led with that. There isn't a particular reason as to why I have not watched it yet. I think it has been a film, I think, this season that over time people have just fallen a bit more out of favor with, and I am aware of that, and that might have, subconsciously been why, I haven't necessarily clicked play on it yet. But, Catherine Bigelow is amazing. Have you seen Strange Days? I feel like I've brought this up on the podcast before, maybe not with you. She like co-wrote it with James Cameron. It's from like 1995 with Ralph Fiennes and Angela Bassett. And it's like it's like a Y2K kind of thing, but it was, it was like more earlier 90s, so it was it's a much different style. Like it kind of has this like, like punk kind of futuristic kind of thing going on. But I do really love that movie. I mean, and obviously, Hurt Locker and her other work. So I have faith that it is at least somewhat good. And I do have to say, you are probably the person that likes it the most of everyone that I know. I don't, you've talked to me about this movie before, and still like have the most like emphatic response to it of anybody that I know.
But you gotta trust. It is
no.
good.
I try to go into things with an open mind. I do, and so I will go into House of Dynamite with an open mind when I watch it over Christmas break.
That's beautiful. Also, if you like the score for Conclave, this House of Dynamite
Okay.
score is like Conclave, but like twice as cool.
Okay.
Um,
Is it the same composer or no?
I don't even think so, but it like
It's just the
sounds like
same
very, very
vibe.
similar. It's like very like high strung, like violins going like do 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 do.
Okay. All right. I mean, I fuck with a violin.
Mhm.
But all right, so a recommendation and
Strong recommendation.
strong recommendation for House of Dynamite from you, Jack. There is another movie that also has been getting a lot of flack recently
Mhm.
that I am kind of on the same wave as you. I don't think I'm as emphatic of a fan of Ella McCay as you are with House of Dynamite, but Ella McCay was I listed as my anticipation on, I think, 2 episodes ago with Jack Mayer for Wicked, and I was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to it. Love broadcast news, and I'm just like, these kinds of movies, don't really get made anymore. Da 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 da. And I have since seen Ella McCay. I think Ella McCay is a very cute movie. It's cute.
Hmm.
I don't think that it is as substantial as Brooks's other films. Honestly, I haven't seen all of them, but as far as like terms of endearment and broadcast news, and
Have you seen Spanglish?
I haven't seen Spanglish. No, I'm familiar. I know like the Adam Sandler movie and everything.
Hmm.
It was one of those movies that I always wanted to watch when I was younger, but my parents wouldn't allow me because it was like PG-13 and I was too young. But anyway, Ella McCay Loki did have a high bar for me to live up to, and it did not meet that bar. But I did enjoy myself a lot while watching it, and I think that that goes a long way, at least for this kind of movie. It's interesting. It's a period piece for 2008.
Wait, really? That's crazy.
Yes. And she becomes the youngest governor of her state, which they never say which state it is also, but
Hmm.
she's very clearly a Democrat, and it's very like reminiscing about what once was. That's kind of just the feeling of at least the political chunks of the movie.
Is Obama in it?
No.
But it's set
No.
in 2008. That's like
It is, but she's like it's not a traditional like election that she gets. It's like she's the lieutenant governor, and then the governor like resigns, and so she then becomes the governor, and it's like I think maybe a little over a year that she has still to like do it before she eventually like runs, because she wants to like run for it, but she just got
Mhm.
it early.
I just feel like Obama would have something to say about all this, but maybe that's just me.
I say that to say I think it is meant to be set kind of before the presidential election of 2008. Like it's
Mm.
definitely not set in November, but like I think it's meant to be pre-Obama 2008.
Spring of
I think
2008
it's
or
trying to
something.
walk a fine line there. But that's honestly not even the main focus of the movie. It's mostly about her relationship with her family and just like all of her family members. Feels a bit episodic at times, just because like they're very isolated. Like there's not many. There's like a small number of scenes where it's like she's with her whole family, but most of the time you only see her with one person at a time. I don't know if that was just a shooting thing, but anyway, it's Emma Mackey playing Ella McCay. Woody Harrelson plays her father, who I think is like also either a politician. He's someone in the public eye. It's not entirely specific what
He's
he's
Eddie
doing.
McCay.
I honestly forgot that his name was Eddie. That's funny. But he like has some public. He has like accusations of sexual harassment like against him, and so like that's a whole thing about like
Mm.
in her childhood and their backstory, and then she's very close with her aunt Helen, who Jamie Lee Curtis plays. And I have to say, I do think she's the best part of the movie. I wanna say right now, I have been a Jamie Lee Curtis fan for a very long time. I hate the fact that she won that Oscar, but I do love that lady. I think like every time she shows up in something, I almost always enjoy it. I can't speak for Freaky Friday. I don't know what was going on there.
About her yogurt commercials.
I mean, shout out to Activia. Again, she was on the TV growing like
Hmm.
Christmas with the Cranks, bitch.
Classic.
Like that is me. And the original Freaky Friday, I used to watch, not like a ton, but I watched it a few times when I was younger, and I always enjoyed it. Last Showgirl as well. She has a supporting role in that movie, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie, but I was like always lit up when she was on screen. I just thought she was so funny, and part of it I might have been laughing just like at the character because it was so I was like, what is going on here? But at the same time, I was like, she is bringing me more into the story, like more than anything else that's happening. And that was happening with Ella McCay as well. I think the scenes that her and Emma Mackey have are great, and their chemistry kind of carries a lot of at least why I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, it is a bit episodic. It's a bit all over the place. She also is like her relationship with her brother is a bit strained. There's like maybe 4 or 5 different storylines kind of all going on. But, you know, it's like the perfect movie for like grandma. You know, my Letterboxd review is like Letterboxd vile right now. It has like 200 something likes. But I was like, the Tuesday senior matinee crowd is going to eat this movie up.
True.
It screams like, you know, go see this on a Tuesday or a Wednesday at like 11:30 in the morning and get like lunch after, you know, with like
I know the
the
vibe.
Golden Girls. Like
Mhm.
that's, and honestly, that's a kind of movie that you need at times.
Yeah,
I feel like
they don't make those
like
anymore.
they really don't. It reminds me of when, like, you know, the summer when Book Club and
Yeah,
Palms
that's
came
what I was
out.
thinking.
Like
Yeah.
it was like I was like, you know, we need movies for older people. On Twitter, a lot of the conversation, regardless of outside of how people feel about it, they're like, this is probably going to be the last time that like an 85-year-old is going to be able to write and direct like a studio movie. Especially making these kinds of movies, I think is more specifically what I mean.
Sure.
I like that this movie exists. I am not going to, you know, shout from the rooftops like, you know, Ellen McCay. I'm not going to, you know, go on any kind of soapbox about Academy attendance for Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, I'm not going to be doing that. But, you know, if you want to have a cute time at the movies and like get your heart warmed a little bit, then, you know, go check out Ellen McCay. Before we get into our main discussion, I recently got a chance to speak to one of the supporting actors from Marty Supreme, Luke Manley. He plays Dion in the film. Marty Supreme releases everywhere Christmas Day, select theaters today on the 19th, at least the release date of this episode. He's great in the movie. Take a listen. Hello, Luke. Hello.
What's up, Andrew? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks a lot for having me here.
Of course, of course. This Marty Supreme is your first movie, yes?
Yeah, I mean, I was in a short film, Shannon
Okay.
Boston Abbott, but yeah,
Yeah,
this is my first one.
your first feature. Well, congratulations on it. It's amazing.
Thank you.
I've seen it twice now,
Oh wow,
and I've loved it even more.
more
Your
than me.
character is so memorable. Say more than you. Oh my goodness. Well, this with this being your first feature, I did want to at least start out asking, how did this project and Josh Safdie find you, like for this
so
role?
I asked Josh, and I don't know if you know the Instagram side talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on there after Nick's loss, just spouting out
Mm-hmm.
things, and he saw it. He's a huge Nick fan, and he saw
Oh.
my Twitter name was Patrick Ewing, and he was like, "Oh, I need this guy." And so the casting agency reached out,
Mm-hmm.
and I auditioned, and the rest is history, baby.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's so interesting. I know that he likes to work with a lot of people that aren't typically actors first. And so it's always interesting to see how, you know, people like you and other like Kevin O'Leary and Koto Kawaguchi, like other of your co-stars were. Um, it felt so natural in a lot of ways.
Thank you.
The last time I saw the film, I was able to hear some of your co-stars, Kevin O'Leary, Gwyneth Paltrow, Koa Kataguchi, Odessa Zion, speak about a lot of the improvisation that happened on set and their how they were able to kind of work with the script and how you know the freedoms that they had on set. I wanted to ask you, what was your process like regarding the script and learning the lines and whether, you know, if you improved a lot, if you stuck to the script, was there, what was that entire thing like? And then also when you watched the film back the first time, how much of it was improv, how much of it was from the script?
Okay. No, great question. Yeah. So Josh didn't send me the script ever. He sent
Oh.
me my chunk of stuff.
Mhm.
And he was like, and he sent me and him texted back and forth a lot about the character's background and like just getting to know the character. He's like, listen, I want you to look at the lines, but I don't want you to memorize them. Make them in your
Mhm.
own words, and we'll see what happens. And like when me and Timmy were like rehearsing on camera and stuff, like at the camera, forgot what it's called, but just before you film, like just seeing us on camera, we were like, he was like, all right, like he's gonna see me in the role and see how it goes. So a lot of it was improvised, and a lot of it when I
Mhm.
saw the movie was improvised. I I tried learning the lines, but I'll be honest. I mean, I wasn't great at learning the lines, but I got the gist
Right.
of the scene. And
Mhm.
Chalamet is just so good. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like if I fumbled, he would be right there, and I
Mhm.
like he would be the assist. He'd be like Stockton to my Malone, you know. So it was
Right.
awesome, and a lot of it uh it was off the cuff and just like here's the scene, here's the lines, but if you go off them, it's fine, you know. So they were very loose, and it was awesome working like that because I
Mhm.
would have been terrified if I had to memorize every to the period. I mean, I don't know, but
Right.
he made it very loose and very fun, honestly, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Last question, because I know our time is kind of wrapping up, but the scene that your character for me sticks the most out in is the scene near the beginning where they're in the office and they're talking about the ping pong ball. The line about like it's not the Marty normal ball, it's the Marty Supreme ball. Where did that come from? Was that you? Was that in the script or in the chunk of pages that you got? How did can you talk about working in that scene and that line and working with Timmy in that scene? Just like
So
all that.
I'll be completely honest. I don't remember if it was written or if we spoke it out. I think it might have been like me and Josh speaking it out. Like, what should we say about the ball? What should we
Mm-hmm.
say about the ball? And like we both were riffing off it, I think. But uh but that scene was the most fun to me too, because my dad, John
Mm,
Catsimatidis in it, who plays my dad, is a character and a half.
yeah,
And me and Timmy were having so much fun, like riffing with him, you know. Uh,
yeah.
but I'm almost positive we like riffed that in the moment. Like I don't think that was written on the script,
Hmm.
you know, that line.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it worked amazingly, and probably one of the most memorable lines, if not the most memorable line from the movie for me. I've been like saying it to myself like over and over again since I saw it. Um, but those are all of my questions, and I think that's all the time that we have because I know we're limited and you got a lot of people to talk to. But I wanted to say thank you for speaking with me. Thank you for being on the reel, as it were, my podcast name. And yeah, thank you so much for speaking. I hope you have a good day.
No problem. Hey, are you kidding me? Thanks for having me. Seriously, this is great talking to you, man. Thank you.
From now on, this is your spoiler warning. Spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning.
Watch the movie and then come back.
Okay, Jack, let's discuss
Andrew.
Avatar Fire and Ash. Didn't expect a response there, but thank you. Let's talk about Avatar. We saw this a couple of weeks ago in glorious Dolby 3D.
Mm-hmm.
For people that might not have been tuning in since, the Christmas special so long ago by now, can you explain your relationship with the Avatar films? Because yours goes a lot deeper than mine.
I mean, I don't even know how deep it is. Like, I saw the first Avatar when it was in theaters. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. My
Mhm.
mom actually got a 3D TV because, like, we thought that was going to be the next big thing.
Oh my god! Because of Avatar,
Yeah, because, like,
that's
that was, like,
so
the thing to
funny.
do at the time.
This is already way deeper than me. You're like, it's not that deep. We bought a 3D TV because of
Like, I wasn't,
Avatar.
like, I wasn't, like, begging my mom. She just needed a new TV, and, like, that was, like, the coolest, like, new TV at the time.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
But it was like 3D TVs. I could go on like a whole tangent about those. They don't really work. You have to like have like battery powered 3D glasses. And it's like, what is the battery doing?
Yeah, no. And it's like the 3D Blu-ray player can only work with a 3D
Yeah, and you need a 3D
TV
Blu-ray player, and you need a 3D Blu-ray. It's just it's so complicated.
Too much. But anyway.
So yeah, I really liked it. And then I didn't really think about Avatar for like 10 years. And then they're finally like, okay, we're finally releasing the second one. And I rewatched Avatar 1 in theaters. I was like, holy shit, this is like the greatest movie ever. Loved Avatar 2. And I've been eagerly anticipating Avatar 3. Because this is like, it's like the big payoff. It's like the culmination to the Avatar trilogy, allegedly. That's how James Cameron's been marketing it.
Maybe I missed that. My entire, or at least what I've always thought about, because they said from, I don't know if it was from the jump, but at least when they announced another movie,
announce like 5 sequels,
they announced like 5 movies, and so I did not go into this thinking it was going to be. I mean, it could be very true that he was saying that. I just genuinely have not seen. Is it like in promo footage or whatever? He's saying that.
Yeah, what he's saying is like, the Avatar 1 through 3 is like a saga, and then 4 and 5 are gonna sort of like take the story in like a bit of a new direction.
Okay.
Pretty much everything he says is like resolved at the end of Avatar: Fire and Ash, which you know, some of it is, some of it isn't.
Okay. Reframing some things in my head now, but okay. So, but anyway, you have been a fan of the Avatar films.
Still am.
Probably the biggest Avatar fan that I know, truthfully. I have not been that. As you know, the first movie, I guess I liked it when I saw it, but I was like, okay. I was like, this is fun. I didn't see it in theaters when it came out. I watched it much later. So I did not see it in 3D, but I was like, I respect it. I was like, I understand, why it looks, cool as fuck. I've never not thought these movies, or I've never thought that they look bad. Like I've always thought that's like, the strongest thing about it. And honestly, in a lot of ways, I've always thought that that's like the main, the main part of the experience of these films.
Dog.
It's just how I view these films. Because the story aspect has never really done much for me. The first one, obviously we know white savior narrative, part of it, it's whatever. It doesn't necessarily make bad. This is just what it is. The second one, we've had this discussion multiple times. We have our disagreements. I think the second one is very similar to the first one. I don't think it is as much of an offender on the white savior tip as the first one. I do think there's shades of it. But this third one, I have to say, I didn't feel that with this one. And I think because of that, I was able to lean more into it. I will probably be the only person to say this about this movie, but I honestly think this might be my favorite one of all 3 of them.
You're right. Can we take a second to just like dive a little deeper into the white saviorness of the like previous 2 Avatar movies? Because here's the thing. I think obviously there's like strong like white savior elements, but I do also think like Avatar is like the only like big movie franchise that's like centered around like indigenous people in like one way or another, like or like indigenous Na'vi in this case. But like I think like if you look at like Marvel movies, like Star Wars movies, they're just like big fight scenes that like aren't really about anything. And this is like a giant franchise that is like centered on like a story about like colonialization from like the perspective mostly, increasingly with each sequel, of like the indigenous people. And I think that is like the coolest thing ever. And yeah, like it's a bit of like a white savior thing, especially in the first one. But I think in this case, the ends justify the means, where like the story that's being told is just like worth it. And I think it's like more interesting than if it was like just from their perspective.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. You are definitely right. These are, I mean, the Avatar films are the biggest films like ever. Like the first 2 both are, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they're like 1 and 2, but they're both like top 5 all time.
They're both top 5 worldwide.
Yeah, as far as box office goes, and thus safe to say 2 of the most popular films of all time. I think that's a very fair statement, what you just said, it being so centered on indigenous people in one way or another. I kind of go back to it doesn't necessarily make it mean that it's a bad film. It's just something that sits with me oddly. Like I'm able to kind of, I can see where you are coming from, but it's almost like when I watch La La Land, like I love La La Land for a lot of ways. Like La La Land makes me cry. Not a ton of movies do. I love the music. I love the way it looks. Like I love La La Land so much. But then you have this part of the story where, you know, it's Ryan Reynolds and he's like, I'm the only person that, oh my God. the other Ryan, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Ryan Gosling. And he's like, imagine if Ryan Reynolds was in La La Land. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now I'm thinking about that.
He's like turning to the camera.
Crazy as fuck.
I just invented jazz.
Oh my God. That's crazy. That's crazy. Ryan Gosling being like, you know, oh, I'm the only person that knows what real jazz is. And like, you know, he's in this jazz band filled with Black people and he's yelling at them and he's like, y'all are like turning your back on da 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 da. And like, he's like telling John Legend he doesn't know what real music is. I'm like, I don't know how fair that is, just, you know, from a white man telling a Black man about like, you know, a genre that's been created and innovated by Black people consistently. So anyway, I bring that up in relation to Avatar, where like I can get around it, you know, but I can never, you know, look at it and not see that.
Sure. Here's the difference between the two, I think. If Ryan Gosling's character was like recast with like a Black actor, would you still be able to have La La Land? Like, would anything like meaningfully in the story be changed? Like, obviously it would be different, but like, I feel like the story could still happen, you know? It
could, but if Ryan Gosling's character was Black, I wouldn't have that reservation about the story, and I think I'd like it even more.
But I think in Avatar, if Jake Sully's character is it just, he needs to be like an outsider in the story for like the story to exist. La La Land does not require Ryan Gosling to be white. That's the point I'm trying to
make. Okay. So, well, do you think that? Well, you said it requires him to be an outsider. Do you think it requires him to be white, though? A white man?
I don't think it does. But like, I don't think people who are saying it's like I feel like if Jake Sully was like Black or like even like an indigenous like Earth person, he'd still be like, it would still be a white savior narrative because he's a human. No.
Well, it wouldn't be a white savior narrative because he wouldn't be white. It would just be like, you know, it is like, for me, it is purely the image of the white man coming into this indigenous scenario and being like, I am going to save you. Like if it was anybody else, I wouldn't have that reservation. I just look at it, I see white man, indigenous people. And so I'm just like, that, because of that is at least a part of what this is. Again,
no, it absolutely is. It absolutely
doesn't necessarily make it better or worse, not necessarily, but it just sits with me in that way. And so, like I said, I felt it less with the second one because he wasn't white. Because he wasn't like, you know, a white man. Like, you know, obviously he's still Jake Sully, but he was.
But he's got dreads now.
But he has locks, which is a whole nother thing. But it felt lightly similar just because, like I said, the first two movies story wise just remind me of each other, but it's just, instead of, you know, humans and Na'vi, it's just now two kinds of Na'vi.
Sure.
And it's the same villain, just, you know, again, he's now Na'vi as well. This third movie is different than those two. Like, I felt like
it's different and it's the same.
For me, I didn't feel the overwhelming similarity that I did with like the second one. Like when I watched the second one, I think I probably said to you like the first time, or even when we saw it the second time, I was like, the only real thing to me that felt different was the kids in the second one. Outside of that, a lot of the story beats reminded me of the first one. This one felt much more like its own thing. I love the addition of the Ash people. I love the new antagonists that we have. And I think that really added a lot for me because it felt like a new addition to the story that I cared about enough to like carry the movie. Not that I don't like the kids. I actually do think the kids are interesting, but I was really intrigued by the Ash people.
I think all like the new elements are like by far like the strongest parts of this movie. I think the one thing that just felt almost like a carbon copy of number two was just like the third act battle in this. It's like pretty much
I
like the
feel
same
that.
spot as
Yeah.
Avatar 2. It's like The Force Awakens, where it's like we have like a bigger Death Star this time, you know?
Right.
And-
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. I'm not as into these movies as you to where, like, you know, I can immediately recognize like this is the exact same locale. But once, like, you know, the ship started breaking apart and all the when the thing what's the name of the whale?
Tulkun, the Tulkun.
Yeah, when he, and that one has a name, yeah.
Well, they all have names. They're all
Okay.
beings.
Yes. But
in Avatar 2, the main Tulkun is Payakan. In this one, there's a bunch of Tulkuns, and the one I think you're thinking of is like one of the Tulkun leaders. I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, regardless though, there's a moment where a bunch of them kind of leap out of the water and land on these, like, you know, aircraft carriers and you know, army boats and all this stuff. And I swear to God that happened in the last one, no?
It does. But this time it's a bigger like aircraft carrier, and,
right, and there's more
Tulkun. It's a bigger Tulkun.
Yeah, and it happens more than once. So it's like, yeah. So I completely agree with you in that respect. But like I said, the Ash people carry a lot of why I like this movie. I think the additional scenes with all of them are very interesting to me.
Varang is great.
Varang, I was just about to say, she, outside of Neytiri, is always my favorite part of all these movies. Outside of Neytiri, I think she's the best part of this movie. She is a very exciting antagonist. I wish they did more with her.
She kind of disappears for a little bit.
She does disappear for a chunk of the movie, and is it Quaritch, right? Is his name?
Quaritch.
Miles Quaritch, yes. Our main villain, our big bad that we've known from the first movie, from the second movie. And now in this movie, they start to do this thing early on where he like kind of is on this like hero bend a little bit. Like he's like starting to help them out. Because I think it's when the Ash people first show up, right?
Because Quaritch has a son, Spider.
Yes.
And so when Spider, along with Jake Sully's children, get kidnapped together, Quaritch and Sully sort of have to like team up a little bit. Which I loved that stuff. That was so great.
I thought that was very interesting, and I was honestly at that point was ready to be more on board with it, because like when I brought up talking about the second one, I thought like the villain being the same was something that that kind of took away from it for me. And so I was like, okay, we're finally doing something different with this character. And that I thought was going to be fun. And I thought they were going to maintain that throughout the film. But that does not happen.
Well, I think the places Quaritch goes throughout this narrative is like so entertaining. Because
you love him. He's like your favorite character, no?
Maybe in this one. I think everything they're doing with him is like so great in this one. When he falls in love and like starts like painting his face and stuff, I was like giggling in my seat,
and got a lot of audience reaction too, I remember. But I really would have liked to have seen him on the good guy journey for a little bit longer. And I think what it does is actively take away from Varang's character and her, you know, situation, because once he turns back and they kind of start to have their relationship, then she just like becomes like the wife. Like almost like almost like kind of how Neytiri, once she and Jake Sully got together, like it's like Jake Sully now is like always in front of Neytiri, and it's like Neytiri then is
specifically in Avatar 2, that was like really noticeable, where like Neytiri like barely had like anything to do like on her own.
Yeah.
And it was all sort of just like in service of Jake, or like in opposition to Jake.
Yeah. And so I thought that was exactly what was happening with Varang, and I thought that I wasn't the biggest fan of, especially because I just love her character so much.
Yeah.
You were about to say.
Well, I thought they did a better job with Neytiri in Avatar 3, where like she is sort of like on a bit of her own journey. But no, I think everything with Varang, especially in the first half, that like sky people battle is like just like one of the best sequences I've seen. Or I shouldn't say sky, because sky people's what they call humans in it. The sky clan or sky tribe. That whole sequence was like I was like floating the entire time. It was so cool.
Yeah, no, I thought that part was really strong. I honestly loved the idea of like, you know, them introducing like weapons, like guns, you know, almost like Prometheus and like all that kind of thing. But I like that specific scene where she kind of forced, was it Quaritch to like show her how to use the gun?
Yeah,
Or
no,
yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff was so interesting.
Yeah, you know, I thought that stuff was really working. Like you said, a lot of her chunks of the story earlier on in the film where I was like, I'm so here for this. And then they looped Quaritch back in. And then it became the Quaritch show again. And I was like, okay. Outside of her though, let's talk about Spider for a little bit, because I think Spider's
He's like the driving force. Yeah.
Loak is the narrator, the son. Loak is more kind of who's like telling the story, but Spider and Spider's existence in this realm is really kind of what, at least, you know, the Sullys, their arc is very strongly closely related to Spider this time around. I think how much you like Spider is going to determine your, you know, your leeway with the movie for that reason. Spider's like whatever to me. Him just being a white boy with locks, I'm just like, okay. Like, you know, I'm like, okay, whatever. Are you a Spider fan?
I love the idea of Spider. I think he's like such an interesting character because he's like raised by the Sullys, but he's like the son of Quaritch, and so there's like so much like conflict that's inherent to him. I think in execution, I think he's like a pretty good character, but I guess I like him more for like what he represents, and like it's not like when Spider comes on screen, I'm like leaning forward, like, ooh, what's Spider gonna do next? You know?
No, yeah. He remind me exactly how he came into the story. You probably know a little bit better than me. Was there like a baby in the first one?
So at the end of Avatar 1, the humans all leave, but Spider can't leave. And they announced this in like the prologue of Avatar 2. Spider couldn't leave because he was a baby, and babies can't go on the space transport home.
Okay.
So he stayed and was raised by the Sullys.
I think it's really interesting that they take him though on the, you know, kind of becoming Na'vi journey, and like don't even try to like change his body. Like I thought that was like I thought the whole thing was like they like they had to put them into a Na'vi body for it to work, but I guess it isn't anymore.
Well, so it's really interesting to think about. The story goes back to like the white savior thing, because like Spider is like white, but also he was like born on Pandora and like raised by like Na'vi, and it's like he's still like always gonna be like human. He's still always gonna be white.
Yeah.
But like also he like speaks like fluent Na'vi. And then in this one, what's her name? Sigourney Weaver's character,
Grace. Grace is her human name.
Kiri.
Yeah.
Kiri, through her like magic Eywa powers, gives him the ability to like breathe the like air on Pandora. I think that's like a really, really interesting place to take his character, because it does sort of like make him like even closer to like Na'vi, but like he's never gonna be fully Na'vi, you know, he's never gonna be blue. We'll see. Maybe Avatar 4, who knows?
You know, who knows? I think as far as that part of the story goes, like you said, because he won't ever be Na'vi, they go pretty deep into that, and honestly a lot farther than I expected. Like them having an entire scene where they're outright like, we need to kill Spider.
That was crazy.
I was like, what? I was like, oh, like, and like multiple times they're like about to kill Spider. I was like, are they actually gonna do this? And I for a second, just based off the fact that they brought that up and like said it, I was like, oh, they might do it. I was like, they might, because that it honestly becomes a big part of the central conflict, as far as again the Sullys.
No, absolutely. I feel like that's part of why I love these movies so much, is because it really like centers the conflict on like, there's like this one boy that like we love so much, and like he's part of our family, but also if like the humans catch him, then like they could like colonize like our entire world. And so it's like, will we kill him or will we say, like, I think like a story that's like that, like emotionally driven but also that high stakes, it's just like so uncommon, and like only like the Avatar movies are really able to do it like at this point. And
yeah, I agree, but I think I can only say I agree as far as this movie. though. I'm like, I don't know that I had a strong. I mean, just because, like I previously said, my experience with Avatar, I've just never been the strongest fan. And this one, I'm probably the biggest fan of as far as the three movies. Like that, like, we need to kill Spider moment, that like when it happened, and that reaction that I had, I didn't have a reaction to anything in any of the other movies like that, except for maybe some of the visual effects, and these movies are so long. After about 45 minutes or an hour, you get used to how cool everything looks. And then it just becomes the story.
Wow, taking it for granted.
I'm obviously, the story grows, and then they because of the size and scale of these stories, so much happens, and obviously you don't get everything in the first hour, but the like the oh my godness of it, like, as you get used to it, because you're starting to say oh my god at everything, and it's like, once you're saying oh my god at everything, you don't have to say oh my god anymore.
That's fair.
But this movie, like, with that, I think this was really the first time I was able to connect, or at least not the first time, but the strongest I've ever been able to connect with the story from any of the films. Between that and also, like I said, the Ash people, which I just thought all that was really interesting, particularly Varang. I did enjoy all of the guns in in the third act. I did think that was fun. No. But I just thought that was cool. Like, that was something, like, after one of the few times after the first hour when I stopped saying oh my god, I was like, oh my god. Like, on the visual effects though, I did want to ask you, how did you feel about the high frame rate stuff? Because I always sit kind of odd with it, just because, like, Gemini Man is is its own thing. But after that was when I finally had an eye to notice when it's there in Avatar. They use it, but it's not the entire thing, and I feel like it's really noticeable when it switches back and forth.
I'd agree with that. I think the switching was my main issue. I think when it's in high frame rate, especially this time, it looks great, much better than Avatar 2. But then, like, when they're switching back and forth, just like the normal frame rate stuff looked like weird, and like the motion blur looked really fake.
And it felt like it wouldn't even be like, between scenes. Like, it'd be like within a scene they would switch between high frame rate and not. And I feel like I remember that kind of happening in the second one, because I remember making some joke about, like, who turned on like motion smoothing or something, or like who was like playing with the button. But this time, I have to say, because I was more into the story this time, it bothered me a little bit less. But it is definitely very noticeable, and I'm so curious as to the thought process behind it. Like, I'm like, do they not notice it, or like, is it like, I'm like, I don't know. But I mean, there's not much more though to say about the visual effects. I mean, they are amazing and
they're great,
stunning, like always. Yeah. Cast wise, briefly, we can discuss. I know we said Varang obviously is, like, favorite new character, but like I said, Neytiri's my girl. Zoe Saldana, I think, is always going to eat up these movies.
Consistently great, yeah,
and is always the strongest part. I sincerely believe that, and I don't know that they're going to create a character better than her. They almost did this time. They almost did with Varang. True. But I just loved her, and I think her performance is so strong.
Do you think Sam Worthington is like a good actor?
I remember you asked me this. I have no real like relationship with his career outside of like Avatar, for real. And like I said, me and Avatar. So
here's my thing. Just like, if you like look at like a picture of him, like he seems like just like a sort of like generic like Jason Statham-esque like action star, but like I think like the emotional depth he reaches, and like specifically the role of Jake Sully, I think is like really, really impressive. And like really moving.
I don't think he's a bad performer in Avatar at all. I'm not. I was like, oh my god, Sam Worthington, like from Avatar, like it's like whatever.
No, I see his name, I don't think people think of him as like a particularly good actor, or like outside of Avatar, like you like know him from like nothing but like Clash of the Titans or whatever. But like I think it's just like so impressive, and like this might just speak to like James Cameron's direction or something, or like that like he has like such a like nuanced performance in him, even though like he's mostly known for just like sort of like generic like B-movie action stuff. I don't know. I think it's fascinating.
As far as this kind of goes back to just the white people thing a little bit. the people that he cast as like the indigenous Navi. I mean, all of the Navi are indigenous to Pandora, but like the other tribes and stuff, I think are meant to more closely resemble deeply indigenous people. I think the idea of Kate Winslet in a mocap suit, like ululating, like like I'm like I don't know how serious I can take this. Like knowing that that's Kate Winslet, like I think that is the most baffling casting choice of everybody, just for me personally.
And like Sigourney Weaver as a teenage girl is also crazy.
That I think, that and Kate Winslet I think are right there. And also the romance element with her and Spider, was it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, aren't y'all like brother and sister or something? Like I'm like, I know he's like obviously not, but
no,
like
they're not related.
I know they're not blood related, but like they live together. Like like Spider's like supposed to be like their brother, no? Or no. Is Kiri a Sully? I know that she's like Grace in the body, but is
she's like a clone of Grace.
Oh, okay, but they just took her in though.
Yeah, they took her in. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they're like adopted
found
siblings.
Family vibes. Yeah, they're adopted.
They're basically adopted siblings, and I'm like, what's good? I did think that was weird. I wasn't the strongest fan of that part. I didn't hate the idea of them introducing romantic interests to the teens. I just think specifically Spider and Sigourney Weaver's character having a thing, I just think is a bit odd of all of the choices, because they're like, is it Loak that has a girlfriend or
yeah, he's dating one of like the water people. On like the note of the romance, I want to go back to Quaritch and Varong, because I think one thing that this movie captured incredibly well that like I wasn't really ready for was like when one of your friends starts dating someone and you see them like start like dressing differently and like talking differently and acting differently. I was like, I see you, James Cameron. I get it.
Oh my goodness, when he showed up with the paint on him, I think that was probably the funniest like part of the movie for me. That shit was so funny. I was just like, he really pussy whipped. Like I'm like, you like you down bad, and I'm like, I get it, but it's just I just thought that was a really funny thing. That
I think it's like funny, but like it also like humanizes his character so much. Like he's not just like this generic bad guy. He's like,
right.
He just wants to be in love like the rest of us. That's beautiful.
That's exactly right. I do think it adds a nice human element to him. Spider, I think, was their first trying to make him a human, but he hates Spider. Like, I just feel like he hates him. It's just like, if Spider's happy, like if you actually love him, you'd be fine with him being like, you wouldn't be trying to like.
No, imagine the person who killed you is now raising your son. I would be so
But he didn't
mad.
kill him. Like, he's still alive.
No. Because the Quaritch we have in these movies is a clone of the Quaritch who died in Avatar 1.
Oh my goodness, which I've already told you, I just think is so cheap, but continue. Continue.
But like, it's not the same, because the Quaritch in Avatar 1 would never fall in love with Varong. So it is like a different character.
But like, how do you know that? He's a clone, right? So it's supposed to be the same. At least inside.
No, I feel like there's a conversation Jake Sully has with Quaritch where he's like, it's like, you're not human anymore. Like, you are Na'vi, and like, once you connect to something bigger than yourself, then you'll start to change. Like, that's when Quaritch like falls in love with Varong and like starts to change.
Well, I mean, again, he does show a lot more change in these movies, I have to say.
Because like the original Quaritch like saw the Na'vi as like animals and stuff,
Yes, this is true. I mean, and he had that like self-hating aspect in the second one. Like he's like, ugh,
Yeah.
but it just kind of connects back to my original point. What I was saying about him being Spider's dad, like that was kind of their first real, like them trying to make him feel human. I didn't really feel that human layer of him until they introduced like the love aspect with him and Farang. I thought that was a good. I probably should have done that earlier and then brought in Spider, because I'm like, oh, so he does have like actual like loving capabilities. But I do like every part of the story that had Varang in it, I was a fan of. I just wish that
Mhm.
she was in more than just like an hour of it.
Totally.
What would you fall on as a rating for this one? I know we've kind of avoided how you felt about this one in comparison to the other two, I think.
I think I've said this before, but I have like a really hard time ranking these movies, especially these first three,
Mm-hmm.
because like they all just feel like parts of like one big story.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's really hard to just like pick a favorite or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just love like the whole narrative that they're telling. Like it's like picking like a favorite Lord of the Rings movie. It's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like they're all just
I mean,
kinda-
I have a
they're
favorite
all
Lord of the
great.
Rings movie,
Really?
but
What's your
second one,
favorite?
Two Towers.
Interesting. I don't know. So I'm not gonna rank this one. Do you have a ranking?
Probably 3-2-1 from top to bottom.
Interesting.
But
Okay.
again, like I said, I just as the white saviorness has kind of
Mhm.
disappeared, I think I've grown to like it more.
That's fair. That's fair.
I still think I'd give this one like a 4 out of 5, like an 8 out of 10. Like I'm not like, you know, it's still Avatar, and I still feel how I feel about Avatar. I just do think this is a much stronger, like it's like 4 stars and a like. You know, like I haven't given
Sure.
a like to the other two. The other two are like sitting at 3.5, no like. You
Okay.
know?
That's a big jump. That's a big jump.
This one, 4 stars and a like, is like, you know, this is good. I like this one.
I think I'll go 5. I think I'll go 5. Like 5 out of 5.
I mean,
I
you know,
came out of the
period.
theater. I was like 4.5 because it's like a little repetitive or whatever. But no,
But the second
talking
one's
about it, I'm
repetitive.
like, this movie is so good. Like, what are we talking about?
The second one is more repetitive, I think, than this one. I at least
Mhm.
felt like the middle hour of the second one, where it's just like the kids fucking around, like over
No,
and
that
over and
stuff's
over and over.
awesome. It's
Like it's fun, but I'm
beautiful.
like, an
It's beautiful.
hour of this, like an hour, like bro, like we got other shit to take care of. Like, oh my god.
There's no one doing it like James Cameron. That's the thing.
But shout out to Avatar: Fire and Ash. Go see it. You probably will, or you
Mhm.
likely already have. So to wrap up, Jack, you know I like to ask my guests if they have any movie they'd like to recommend and anything they're looking forward to. Do you have a movie that you'd like to recommend, and or a movie that you are looking forward to?
Let's see. What
And don't
movie
say
would I like-
Avatar 4, because you did that last time.
You know, I thought about it, but I'm doing something that's releasing a little sooner. For my recommendation, though, I'm trying to think what's like a good Christmassy movie. I think I'll throw a recommendation over to Anna and the Apocalypse. It's not
Okay.
my favorite Christmas horror movie, but it is the only Christmas horror zombie musical that I know of. And
Yes,
I think its
same.
songs are like shockingly good. And it's a great time. It's festive, and it's got something for everyone. So I'd go ahead and recommend that.
Okay, nice. I feel like we probably mentioned that on the
Mhm.
Christmas horror episode that probably came up.
I believe so. Yeah,
I still have not seen it, but shout out to it.
lock in on that.
I know I might throw it on my list actually for this month. But do you have something that you're looking forward to?
Oh yeah. I am looking forward to the Alejandro G. Iñárritu Tom Cruise movie.
Yes. Does it have a title yet?
I don't think so. I don't even remember exactly what it's about. I just love that pairing so much. And he's
Yeah.
trying to like save humanity from a global disaster. I'm just so on board for like
didn't know that.
post Mission Impossible Tom Cruise. Maybe not even post Mission Impossible, just like dramatic Tom Cruise at this age. Like
Yeah.
I have
yeah,
no idea what I'm in for, but I am like so sad.
That's real. That's real. I am excited for that project too. I guess we'll come back to it when we know what it's going to be called. As far as my recommendation, I'll recommend a Christmas movie as well. I'm gonna recommend Unaccompanied Minors. I've watched this movie like twice in the last like 2 weeks.
What the hell? I've never heard of this.
Okay, it's like a children's family Christmas film from 2006, directed by Paul Feig, with Louis Black and Wilmer Valderrama and Tyler James Williams in the midst of his Everybody Hates Chris fame. They're like the top 3 builds people. But none of them are the main characters. But I mean, Tyler James Williams is in the main group, but it's about a group of kids who get stuck at an airport due to a blizzard. Like they're all flying by themselves without their parents. And there's a blizzard that shuts down this airport. So it's like all of these kids are like stuck in the unaccompanied minors room. And like they're all just like, running around doing crazy shit. And these five of them kind of like break out and start like, doing a bunch of random shit around the airport, like, going in stores and ordering a bunch of food and
Hmm.
like, stealing golf carts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And once they get caught and they're brought back to the room, all of the kids have been taken to a hotel like down the street. And so it's now only the five of them. They're like the only kids in this entire airport.
Wow.
And they then have
Hijinks
to
ensue.
figure out how to and they gotta get to the hotel because one of them has a younger sister who is over there, and he's like, she thinks Santa's supposed to come at like 5 a.m. or whatever, and so he's like, we gotta get over there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really fun and funny. I think, like I said, I work at a school, and we've been watching Christmas movies on Fridays because it's Christmas time, and
Oh, yeah.
I have seen this movie a lot when I was younger, but I rewatched it like last week or a little over a week ago just to like make sure it was safe to just because I'm like some things I might have forgotten, and I like was laughing so hard at it. Like I forgot how much I enjoyed it. And so then when I rewatched it with my students at the school and they thought it was funny, they enjoyed it. So, it still stands up. I think it's a fun time. Ignore the reviews. It was not well reviewed when it came out, but I think it is an enjoyable and a very fun experience and a, kind of a forgotten about Christmas movie, but, I think it's good. So that's my recommendation,
That's
Unaccompanied
hype. That's
Minors. As far as what I'm looking forward to, though, I would say at least what's coming out in January. I think I'm most looking forward to the new 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, directed by Nia DaCosta, because I was a really strong fan of 28 Years Later that came out earlier this year and was very surprised at how much I enjoyed it because, again, not my typical kind of movie. I also am not the strongest fan of the original 28 Days Later. I like it, but it goes in a weird direction that I don't really like. But I really, really like 28 Years Later. I just think it would be interesting. Me and Jack O'Connell are not like, like I'm not like the hugest Jack O'Connell fan. I love Sinners,
Mm-hmm.
and like, love him in Sinners. So I'm excited for that reason. But I just think Nia DaCosta is great. So that's it. That's everything. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me on such
Yes.
an important episode.
Yes. This was so much fun. If you, the listener, would like to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram at OTR with Andrew. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at the OTR Andrew Pod. You can follow me on Letterboxd at AndyMike1209. That's ANDYMIKE1209. Jack, do you have any socials you'd like to plug?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ScreenagerJack and check out my new podcast, Behind the Scream, on the Screenager Films YouTube channel, where we break down horror movie death scenes. It's a good time.
Yes. Check that out. And I hope you enjoyed our conversation. I hope you enjoyed my interview with Luke Manley. And I hope you stay tuned for what's coming up. It looks the year's about to end. So I feel like, we're kind of due for a year end episode. Stay tuned for that. Thank you again so much for being here. And thank you for listening.